Right. We are replicating the game. It's not as if this isn't a known pattern. I mean, I sort of
Right.
feel like there are places where the right lesson is encoded, right? There are things you will find in Orwell that are absolutely central to our moment. You know, The Who covered this particular one, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. And the idea is we have this tendency to valorize the oppressed, which is understandable. But the problem is, your point is exactly right. There is a quadrant of human nature that acts in a particular way based on its opportunities once it gains power. And so, to the extent that we view the oppressed as more deserving, they may be more deserving, but at the point that you transfer who's powerful to them, they behave in the same ways. Because guess what? This had nothing to do with their particular genes creating particular defects of cognition. This has to do with game theory. The powerful tend to behave this way unless you build systems in which it doesn't pay. If you build those systems, we can behave much better. And many of us have seen that world. We have lived in these circumstances where, frankly, race has been sidelined, and we've seen how well it works. And it's very frustrating to have the functional world that we might live in prototyped all around the landscape. But when it comes time to say, actually, here's how we ought to structure things so that race is not a dominant predictor of your well-being, for example, we end up shouted down by those who are playing a game that, whether they are cynical, the game is cynical, right? It
Yes,
is about
exactly.
leveraging power in order to get limited resources, making hay while the sun shines. And this is, this was a disaster 100 years ago, but it's actually an existential threat now, because if you play that game in a world where people are as thoroughly armed as they are, and in which these tendencies are so amplified by technologies that we did not evolve with, this is going to result in this being a very short ride. So we have a limited amount of time to fix this. It's not like, we can go through another couple genocides and then figure it out. Actually, the time is now.